Hello, neighbors. Thank you again so much for stopping on by and having a little bit of a sit down chat with me. I appreciate each and every one of you taking time out of your day to be able to spend some time with me, your neighbor. It was a pretty normal week to begin with as we start going into our weekly recap. Just work, my day job, did auditions every day, looked up, more marketing people to go to, did my emails, all that kind of stuff. Nothing was really out of the ordinary. Until that is Thursday and Friday. So Thursday and Friday, my wife had to go into the office and go on a couple of they went out to Young Living's ranch, and then she went in on Friday for somebody's birthday. Anyways, long story short, I've mentioned before, I'm a little bit of a homebody, but the interesting thing is that when my wife isn't around, it very much is a different kind of feel around the house, right? It's a pretty big house, right? We've got 4 bedrooms, plus the office down here that my wife has. We've got couple 3 full baths, I guess, 3 full baths, and then we've got a half bath as well. So it's a lot of house for me to just be alone in by myself for 12 hours. So I had to really find things to entertain myself and keep myself busy. And so it started out really great because the Overwatch 2 beta came out this week. I didn't get into the first round of beta drops, which is fine. I'm not anybody super important in the Overwatch world. But then they had an opportunity where you could watch certain streamers, and then they would give you keys for the beta. So I was able to get into the beta. So I ended up on Thursday playing a lot of that beta with my extra time where my wife wasn't around. And I started doing the same thing again on Friday, and it just it was wearing me down. And I was trying to figure out why. And it was because that's literally all that I was doing. My life wasn't necessarily balanced. I would take a little bit of time here and there to do auditions and different stuff like that, but I wasn't really focusing on anything else. And that really led me to thinking pretty deeply about some things. I've mentioned before, I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And a big part of that is, reading your scriptures, saying your prayers, going to church, that kind of stuff. But on the other side of it, the best thing that has come out of the gospel for me, besides my relationship with my Savior Jesus Christ, is the fact that I am able to keep my life balanced. And they focus a lot on keeping your life balanced, right? And where your priorities should be. And I took a moment on Friday and realized that my priorities were a little bit out of balance, right? I was heavily focusing on this game. Granted, it's a brand new game. It's just come out, so it's kind of it's a little bit understandable that I might be kind of using a lot of my time for that. But at the same time, it's I could be doing so much more, right? There are so many other things I could be doing. It's not like I'm trying to make a career out of being a Twitch streamer or make a career out of playing video games. And so I needed to really focus and be what do I want? And knowing what you want is one of the hardest things in life. Just ask any wife what they want to eat for dinner, right? All jokes aside, it very much is a hard thing for any of us to know what we want. People struggle what should my career be? What do I want to do with my life? What is my purpose, right? And all of us search for a purpose. And my relationship with Jesus Christ and the scriptures and through my church study has helped me immensely know my purpose in life. And that has helped me out so much. And now I want to relate to anybody that may be listening that may not be religious, may not even be a part of our church, may not believe in God at all. this is still a very, very important thing, is knowing your purpose. Because if you have a purpose, then everything in life makes sense. If you're not really trying to hit goals or to do anything, then nothing is productive if you think about it. So really, it comes down to having goals. And so I want to challenge each and every one of you, have goals. Make sure they're attainable. Make sure that they're reachable, that you're going to be able to get to it. I'll share with you some of my goals for this year in particular. My goal for this year was to book at least 5 voiceover jobs. So far, we are at 2. We're at 2 voiceover jobs this year, and guess what? I plan to have many more. But my goal is 5. I want to make sure that I'm doing all those things. Another goal of mine is to branch out and to figure out what my little niche in the voiceover world may be. And I'm doing that through different classes, different workshops, and hopefully eventually starting those acting classes. But whether you're religious and you have a purpose, you have a purpose through that, you have a purpose through goals, whatever it may be, everything like that is so important to our lives, because if we don't have that, then we end up doing what I did this week, which was pretty much just work. I played games on my computer, which not inherently a bad thing. I will still continue to play games, but I was playing them definitely too much. But playing games on my computer and then, going to bed at night with my wife after she had done all of her things. It very much felt like I was kind of like just viewing my life from an outside perspective. So just remember, always ensure that whatever your goal is your focus, right? It's your focal point. You look at really cool photographs that have different focal points. There are other things going on in the background a lot of times, whether it's other people moving in a large city, the skyscraper with a beautiful sunset, beautiful city behind. There's always more going on in our lives than anybody else can see. And sometimes that we can see. And sometimes we get so caught up in the small things that we're missing out on what the real focus needs to be. So just make sure that you're really buckling down and you're recognizing what that focus needs to be. I think that was my major takeaway this week. Other fun note, I'll put a couple pictures in here, but my wife has recently taken up a hobby of roller skating. Not rollerblading, mind you, roller skating, like the old 4-wheeled roller skates, right? And so she bought herself some roller skates, and we went to classic skating the other night, and I very quickly learned that I am getting old and I am a little bit out of shape. And so I know I mentioned before, I'm going to be kind of keeping a tab here as far as weight loss goes. I really struggled this week, like I talked about. I didn't get into my workouts. I've gained a little bit of weight, but we're going to get back into it essentially right after I finish recording and making all of my content for this upcoming week. I'm going to be jumping back into that supernatural. We're going to get right back on track with that. And that's really that was the other real thing that I learned this week, is that sometimes we are going to get off track, whatever our goal may be. But it's important to recognize that we're off track and then to recenter ourselves on whatever that track may be. And that's where we'll find success. Success isn't necessarily just in the I'm doing this every single day, but more so in the I am learning and I realize I messed up or I didn't do everything I wanted to do, and being 1% better. If we can be 1% better than we were the day before, then that is improvement and that is success. I love the idea of just telling yourself, I'm going to be 1% better today. Whether that's I'm going to make my bed this morning when I wake up because I didn't the other day. Or I'm going to play less video games today. Or I'm finally going to get to that project my wife wants me to do. I'm finally going to send out that marketing email. I'm finally going to message that person. I'm finally going to have the courage to ask somebody on a date, whatever it is. If you make yourself 1% better every single day, one thing that you can do better as a human being, as a person, as an employee, as a spouse, as a partner, whatever it may be, if you can find 1% to make yourself better, that will not only benefit your life, but it's going to benefit the life of everybody around you. So that's what I'll say on that. And that's kind of the weekly update for me. As far as video game stuff, like I said, beta came out. Very, very cool. It was super fun. I've been enjoying it a lot. The change to 5v5 definitely changes how the game feels and runs. Definitely feels like a completely different game. It's like Overwatch, but they tweaked some things, which is exactly what it needs to be. There are a lot of people complaining that the sequel isn't different enough, but in reality, the sequel was never going to be super different. It's simply that. It's Overwatch, but better. Granted, I think that they didn't need to necessarily starve us dry for 2.5 years, but hey, progress is progress, am I right? Let's see, I'm trying to think of any other big game things that... Oh, yes. Nintendo Switch Sports just came out. Many of you may be familiar with the old school Wii Sports or Wii Sports Resort. Definitely childhood throwbacks for myself. But Nintendo Switch has just released their new iteration on their sports genre, which is fantastic. Melissa and I bought it. We tried it out last night. They've got some great new games, some old classics, all updated with their new engines. It's just fantastic. Super, super fun. I thoroughly enjoyed the sword fighting. So they had sword fighting in Wii Sports Resort, but it was very basic, I guess is the best way to say it. And this one, it was a lot more compact, a lot more streamlined, and you're able to have defensive and offensive maneuvers, and so that was really fun. They had volleyball, they had soccer, they had tennis, they had bowling. I'm trying to think of what... Oh, and badminton. All of which were super fun. I love Wii Sports. It was such a blast. Last thing as far as video games go, esports, right? I've talked about it before. We've kind of been in a lull just because I don't follow Valorant esports that much, but guess what? Overwatch esports is about to kick back up into high gear. So be prepared because we are going to be having small segments about how our team that we're cheering for, the Los Angeles Gladiators, have done. Their first game is going to be on May 5th. Make sure you're tuning in on YouTube. So that's going to be the Overwatch League YouTube channel. Small plug there. Make sure you go and watch it there. It's going to be a great time. Watching them play in the 5v5 is going to be fantastic. So, just to wrap things up for the day. Remember, set a goal. Have that goal in mind. And even when we falter, make sure we pick ourselves back up and we get back on track. We get back in focus. We do the things that we need to do, and we make ourselves 1% better every single day to benefit not only us, but everyone around us. Remember, be the kind of person you want your neighbor to be. Be kind. Be courteous. Be thoughtful. And most importantly, love. Love everyone. That's really the true message of Christianity, whether you're a Christian or not. Jesus Christ showed an example of love to each individual that he met, even those that were crucifying him, ridiculing him, calling him a fraud. And if Jesus Christ can do that, I know each one of us can as well. So remember, be 1% better, be kind, and love everyone, and be the kind of person you want your neighbor to be. Thank you so much, neighbors. I really appreciate everybody sticking by. Again, make sure to follow my socials. It will be at the end of this video. You can find me on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Twitch as well for some probably a couple times a week streams about video games. But we're nearing the end of our time here, so thank you so much, and I will catch you all on the next one. Take care.